As soon as I heard him talk, I realized he had found the secret behind life. When I was teaching and doing research at the University of Oregon, we heard a rumor that this man, Sydney Banks, had had an enlightenment or a very profound epiphany experience, and people were going to his lectures and changing. So we got curious and went up to meet him, and actually were able to go to one of his talks. I think it was 1975, probably. And as soon as I heard him talk, I realized he had found the secret behind life, the secret to the human experience, the link between the spiritual and the material. He'd realized the essence of every religion, which I then realized we're all saying the same thing, but we're caught in their different disguises, rituals, techniques that made them appear different on the surface. But that God is really just the intelligence and energy of life. And Sid was very clear about that life is spiritual, that there's no duality between the spiritual and the material. It's all a divine dream, and this divine dream is fueled by consciousness, thought, and mind. Now, at first I didn't understand a word he said, but I did know he knew what he was talking about. I could tell he was the real thing, and that he really had had a genuine experience, and his certainty and the humility and just the clarity of which he spoke. I realized this was something that really had happened here and was very important for the world. So I kept going back to try to understand it myself and got infected. I started having beautiful feelings of serenity and calm and grace and happiness that I never even knew I was capable of having, to be honest with you. And they just snuck up on me from kind of hearing him talk and listening to him, not doing anything. I didn't have to do any techniques or rituals like meditation or yoga. All I had to do was listen and enjoy life, and the changes started happening automatically, because who we really are is our soul or our pure consciousness or our pure wisdom or the spiritual part of us. The material part is, as Sid says, the illusion. So I just kept going back and then started bringing therapists up and psychologists up, many of whom got hit in the same way. Didn't know really why they were hit so hard, but just started experiencing beautiful feelings and more success in their work and more success with their patients. So, and I realized Sid talked beyond the human mind. He talked with such simplicity about the essence of the principles that people couldn't really debate or intellectually get a handle on it or think about it too much, which is the good thing. And so they just had to listen and let it sink in and get a nice feeling. And as he says, the feeling is what takes you to a higher level of consciousness and to more understanding. So I've known Sid for 35 years and incredibly grateful that I met this man during my lifetime. I feel really blessed to have been exposed to him and the understanding that he discovered. Well, the nice thing about Sid and the amazing thing is he was so ordinary. You know, the first time I heard him talk, I saw a guy in a t-shirt fiddling with the equipment, and I thought it was a sound person because he looked so ordinary and he was just not standing out. He didn't have robes on or anything special going on. But that was Sid. He was very ordinary. He lived a very ordinary life. A lot of times we just spend days working in his garden, and he kept telling people, don't be a follower because you gave your own power away. He kept telling people, you're already enlightened. You just don't know it. You're already sitting in the middle of a perfect mental health. You just don't know it. So he always treated people that way, as an equal, as if they were already enlightened. All he saw was their beauty and wisdom. And yet he was very humble and had a very ordinary life. That's why I think he was invisible to a lot of people.